Welcome, I'm Kelly Nault from joyfullyparenting.com. If you have made it here to the third lesson in this 4-part parenting course, Tame Your Strong-Willed Child's Tantrums, then you likely believe that being a good mom isn't an option. This is really true, especially if you've got a spirited child whose superpower is exposing all your child discipline loopholes and parenting inconsistencies. It's dedicated moms like you who are serious about upping their mom A game, especially in the face of pushback, whining, or full-on meltdowns, who are my heroes. So thank you for being here. Now, in this third video, I'm going to provide you with an important strong-willed child parenting case study that'll bring together all the tantrum tips we've discussed so far. Quick reminder, if you haven't yet downloaded the Child Temper Tamer Checklist that accompanies this course, do this as soon as you can, as it can boost the odds you'll more confidently tame your child's next tantrum. Also, if you haven't yet watched the first 2 videos, I invite you to check them out so you don't miss any important child tantrum tips. So in the last video, I shared a personal story. Do you recall that doozy of a morning where I led an argumentative 6-year-old to wait for the bell outside his grade 1 class? He was third in line, behind 2 backpacks that were saving student spots. With only minutes till school started, I turned and headed back to the car. Now I want you to picture this. It's a warm, sun-kissed day. There are dozens of kids laughing on the playground, while a handful of parents are milling about chatting quietly. Then suddenly, a shriek of terror comes from the smallest and cutest kindergartner. I spy one backpack, with Dora the Explorer on it, sailing through the air. Then the camouflaged one follows suit. The cute kindergartner ducks for cover as she's in combat. The 6-year-old? Well, with a humongous grin, he victoriously claims first spot in line. Parents are shocked. I'm mortified. Then silence. Now, do you have a child who really wants their way, maybe like 24/7? Well, that was him. Have you also ever been racked with total mom embarrassment? Well, that was me. I wish I could say I handled it like a pro, but this was way before I had my master's in counseling, before working with and speaking to thousands of parents, and well before I created the proven Smart Mom path. So I want to use this story as our case study. Use it to highlight how one can more calmly move through difficult child behavior in the heat of the moment. I also want to go over how to teach your child important life lessons, but in a way your child learns from their misbehaviors. This requires we return to the BACS acronym. Hopefully you remember that it's called BACS because one of the main qualities of a good mom is to have all our family members' backs, not routinely get our back up, or worse, stab them in the back, right? So B stands for breath. In this example, I desperately needed to breathe because I was holding my breath. I was also in the flight part of fight-flight response and had an overwhelming desire to flee. Had it not been for the handful of parent eyewitnesses, I'd likely have kept on walking and abandoned ship. The reason taking a breath is always the first step is because it kickstarts our natural biological calming response, moving us away from the triggers that can launch us into flight or worse, fight, where we may respond with destructive monster mom attitude. Are you kidding me? You could have killed that kid. What were you thinking? That's it. No more screen time until next year. You hear me? Sound familiar? Moving on to A, which stands for awareness. Parenting awareness is parenting power. This includes recognizing that child misbehavior, the one that may drive you crazy or mad, is not personal. It's also super helpful to remember that on some level, misbehavior often works for your child. In this case, throwing the backpacks got him first in line. A simple solution, yet not ideal if you don't want to raise a spoiled child. It's also possible he was bored or simply wanted my attention. The key is to get curious and check it out, instead of flipping into instantaneous judgment. You see, the C and K in BACS stands for connect with kid. Well, you don't have to physically drop down to their level and use a quiet voice, even when all you want to do is scream. It often helps. Stating facts while being open to their point of view, By the way, I did not say agreeing with their point of view. This is essential. This may mean getting down on my knee and asking, I noticed you threw 2 backpacks and are now first in line. Did you throw them because you wanted to be first, or was there something else? Your child may have no clue, especially if they're accustomed to you reacting or overreacting. Many children haven't had the opportunity to consider why they do what they do. They just react without thought. Before we push on, let me say that you absolutely want to be sure that any innocent bystander, like that kindergarten kid in my story, is okay. But then you also need to come back and connect with your child. So back to our conversation. He may correct me and say, no, I tripped over their backpacks and was mad. Or, Miss Carter said saving places is against the rules. Totally different than my assumption. Only once I understand his perspective can I provide the teachable moments which many mums, especially those of us who love a good soapbox, adore. Remember, smart mums first seek to listen before being heard. In this situation, I might say, oh, I see. You were frustrated the other kids weren't following the rules, so you took it upon yourself to make them. Is that right? If he nods, then I move on to the final stage, which is S and stands for solution. I get you were frustrated that the other students didn't follow Mrs. Carter's rules. I could say, my problem is that when you toss those backpacks, someone could have gotten seriously hurt. One kindergartner almost did, and they look scared. So how could you have helped them follow the rules but keep everyone and their belongings safe? He may or may not have an alternate solution. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm inviting critical reflection, seeing the broader picture that includes others' points of view. At this stage, I could jump in with a short lecture, but it's essential to keep it brief. Something like, in our family, we use our words. So what would have happened if you talked to them first? He may counter with, but I've tried talking and they don't listen. With understanding, stay the course. I might respond with, it's not easy to talk when people don't listen, but it's not okay to throw someone else's belongings. What could you have done differently? If no answer is forthcoming, then make a suggestion. How about talking to Miss Carter or asking a parent for help? When healthy solution-focused dialogue is encouraged, a strong-willed child has a better chance of making better future choices. You'll also want to include some sort of reconciliation. So how are you going to make it up to them? If they shrug, persist. I expect you to apologize. Finally, be sure you have everyone's backs. Ask, do you want to do this on your own or do you want me to go with you? The conversation could go a gazillion of ways. The important thing is you're open to hearing and being respectful of their opinion, even if you disagree. Now, you may be wondering, but Kelly, when my kid's having a meltdown or is having a total fit, talking is just not possible. Or I get it intellectually, but in some moments, I'm just so mad. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Parenting a spirited child isn't for wimps. That's why in our final session, I'm going to share the biggest secret parenting sauce I've found to confidently parent strong-willed children through all the dramatics ups and downs. It's the one thing that will get you through the testing, questioning, rude child behavior, but in a way that allows you to be you and them to be themselves. The main difference is that it comes with mutual respect that's like crazy glue that can hold your loving family together without hurt feelings, anger, yelling. I'm really looking forward to seeing you